Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Wait, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. It's great to be back. Now we can officially say, actually, it's still cold outside. Never mind. Yeah,
Still a bit
it's
chilly.
another beautiful. It's beautiful outside, but it's a bit chilly.
Sipping my kombucha.
Oh my God! And I'm sipping my water. I'm a hydro homie. This is the Bottom Dweller podcast.
10th
Liquids are in
episode.
our tenth episode. Holy shit!
Exciting.
Yeah, excuse my French, but yeah, that's exciting stuff. And over here in this podcast, we're masters of all thing liquid. God, that
Yes.
can be
That
interpreted
that
many
that
ways.
that no, that's terrible. All right.
Terrible. I never said that. We
Let's
should just jump right into it.
jump right into our first topic here. Um, Venom 2 trailer. Are we surprised
Mm,
that this exists, or I guess not, because Venom 1 already teased in the post-credit scene Woody Harrelson's Carnage, famously. Um, Tom Hardy visits a prison cell, I believe, for a
yeah,
news article, and then he sees Woody Harrelson there.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
trip. You should watch that scene definitely. If you missed
It,
it during the movie.
yeah, you had to stay through the post credits to see it.
Yeah. If you made it that
What?
far in that, you know what? No, I liked Venom. I thought it was okay.
It's a good time. I will tell
Yeah.
you that with full
It's
confidence.
it,
It
it's
was
not
fun.
something I'd go out of my way to watch, I feel like, but it was in theaters, and when theaters are open, I'm watching every big movie that comes out, especially if it's comic books. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta get back. Oh, I'm. That's the one thing that people ask me. They said, "What do you want to do when this is over? Like being quarantined?" I
Watch
just
some
said,
movies.
I just want to see a movie, man.
Yeah.
I just want to go to a cinema and watch a movie with the homies, and that's it.
Hell yeah.
There's nothing better. It's a good time. Like, especially if the people you go with, like, if you vibe and have certain similar tastes, like, you have a good time. But anyway, what do you think about this trailer? Like, what were your thoughts?
Haven't actually seen the trailer yet, to be honest.
Okay, that's
Uh,
okay. No, but like,
no,
I
actually, I
can
did
talk.
I did skip through it just to see what's up.
Okay, then
Looks good. Looks like it's gonna be a bit more hectic than the first game
oh my,
movie. God, can you imagine Venom game?
I would want that. Um,
Yeah.
it looks like there was one scene I caught in the trailer that it looked like they were giving Cletus Cassidy like lethal injection to kill him before
Oh,
like the symbiote bonded to him. I caught that.
yeah.
Um, and it's it's drawing from I can tell it's drawing from obviously the 90s era when Carnage was around with Maximum Carnage and
Any
I don't
any
know why they didn't
specific comic run that comes to mind?
uh it was that 13 issue. There's a bunch of Carnage runs. There's, believe it or not, there's a Carnage run called Minimum Carnage.
Minimum
There's
Carnage?
I'm not kidding, it exists. There
Oh
was
my God.
Maximum Carnage, which was like 13 issues plus, which I enjoyed, but it was maybe dragged out for too long because it felt like it was.
And it was a Super Nintendo game, famously.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a fun
And it's a good
game.
one, yeah.
I enjoyed playing both Maximum Carnage and Separation Anxiety on. I played it
Such a
via.
weird name.
Yeah, Separation Anxiety. That was an arc too. And
Yeah.
the writing was crazy. I think the person who was writing Separation Anxiety at the time, which is another story involving symbiotes, was it's the guy who wrote a not so favorable run of Spider-Man, Howard Mackey. I
Mm.
can't forget that name. Yeah, his dialogue is interesting. And anyway,
Big question
so yeah,
about this second movie. My biggest
yeah,
question is
yeah. Go
Eminem
ahead.
coming back?
Yeah, we both want that. We know we both want
Venom.
it. I would love it. Venom, NM,
Venom.
NM, NM, M,
Venom.
M, M, can't say Eminem.
M.
Enema.
Enema.
Listen, enema.
That's a good album.
Oh God, Eminem on the Empire State Building singing Venom. That's a
Venom.
trip. That's a trip.
Yeah.
I would hope he comes back and does another song. Knock Knock Let the Devil In Part Two.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so I think it borrows from mainly the early 90s and 90s stuff. I could be wrong
Okay.
because I caught another symbiote, like another lady in the trailer. She's screaming loudly, and I think
Yeah.
that's Shriek, the Shriek symbiote. I could be wrong. I
Oh.
don't know if so. And I think they maybe we saw the Shriek symbiote in the first movie as like a hint. I could be wrong, but anyway,
I
I'm not
hope
gonna
I
don't.
hope they don't do the run where they have all these symbiotes. That gets tedious, I think. There's only so far you can stretch this concept.
There is a police detective. I believe he's a detective in the trailer, or he's a policeman. Nonetheless, he hints at another symbiote called the toxin symbiote.
Uh,
And yeah, they said they're setting up basically
the
three new
the
symbiotes.
symbiote cinematic universe.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, toxin symbiote was hinted at, though not explicitly. I
I
just picked it up.
I might be remembering wrong, but are they trying to tie this to these to the Marvel property or no?
They want I read an article yesterday about it,
Okay.
but it's something we're gonna talk about further about like Sony and Disney bridging things together and what we
Yeah.
would like from that. That'd be a cool topic, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yes.
But overall, I'm expecting the same quality of movie as Venom 1, if not better, because Andy Serkis is directing and they had time to tune up the CGI really well, because I thought Carnage looked pretty damn good.
His name is Andy
Um,
Serkis.
not Andy Serkis. What's the name of the director? Is that his name?
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's a funny name.
I mean,
Okay. Next up,
yeah,
we
it's Andy
got
Serkis.
Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, and new animated movie in the Resident Evil cinematic universe. I have not seen a single Resident Evil movie. I've heard the live action ones have really nothing to do with the games, outside of a few iconic enemies and set pieces, perhaps. But the animated ones do tend to fare better, and they do tend to tie into uh, the now overly complicated Resident Evil lore. Believe it or not, to be honest, most Resident Evil games are standalone. Most problems in that game can be solved by shooting zombies in the head. So there is a overall connecting plot. I don't really concern myself too much with it, mostly because I didn't play the games in order and I haven't seen any of these movies, but I would like to check this out. It would be interesting to know if you need to watch any of the previous ones to understand this. I'm hoping no, so I can just jump right into it.
The Resident Evil cinematic universe.
Yeah. Capcom
Anyway,
Cinematic Universe, to be
you're
fair.
right, Capcom Cinematic. What was I gonna say about Resident Evil? All I knew was what you just mentioned. Like someone when I was really young was mentioning about the Resident Evil movie and how the only weakness is shooting them in the forehead or something, or
Yeah.
like between the eyes.
Yeah.
They're like, you're gonna shoot them between. That's all I know. And I'm a scaredy cat. I can't handle
Nah, not really.
any.
I don't. Resident Evil is too campy to be horror, to be
Oh,
honest.
really? Okay, I'm just such a scaredy cat, dude.
It's more of
Can't
an
handle it.
action movie to me.
I don't
Anyways,
know much about this, but yeah.
animation quality looks good. I'm looking to see if there's any news on which platform. Oh, it looks like Netflix. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't have to get a fifth, sixth fucking subscription just to watch one movie.
That's basically the channel system, this whole multiple
Basically,
subscriptions. So
yeah.
basically back to the
Basically
channels.
paying for
Anyway,
cable again, but
it's another good topic,
yeah.
the whole thing. But throw us into the next one. You got this one, I
Okay,
think, too.
one more movie adaptation talking about the Injustice movie. Now that's good. That's interesting because I always thought, last episode we talked about Mortal Kombat 11 being one of the best stories in gaming. NetherRealm really has a good touch with the video game stories, especially fighting games, obviously.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that the universe that they kind of collaborated with DC to help set up is getting more fleshed out. I always thought it was an interesting concept of having this. This is basically DC Civil War, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, they have all these big characters. They also give spotlight to characters that you haven't seen yet on the big screen. So this will be interesting. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but this might be an opportunity for us to see some characters for the first time in a movie.
Yeah, but I think this one's gonna be, if I'm not mistaken here, it's gonna be like in the animated format, you could see characters that you didn't see before.
Yes.
Um, it's for a lot of people, like the Injustice game, and yeah, the Injustice game was an introduction to one of the best-selling DC comics, which was Injustice by Tom Taylor. And
Right.
Tom Taylor actually wrote every sequel to Injustice. It was like one, two,
Wow.
three, maybe even up to like five things in that like universe. Which, anyway, they're all really good too. Like
Yes.
Tom Taylor really did a good job. He's a good writer, guys. Please check out Tom Taylor and give him love.
Did he
He
help
seems
out
like
with the games too, or no?
Tom Taylor. I don't know if he was ever. I highly doubt it, but I I'll just look into that. I think he might have had a little bit to do with it, just
Yeah,
story consulting and stuff. But
for sure.
please read Tom Taylor comics. That guy he writes great comics.
So
And
yeah, based on what you're
yeah,
saying, this movie should be in good hands.
I think so.
Yeah.
And there's not much information on the project, right? So we don't know. Is it going to adapt the story one for one from the video game, or is it a mix of both like the comic details and the game details in the story? I don't know. Anyway,
Now,
but
being a DC Warner Brothers property, this highly likely this is gonna come out on HBO, uh,
yes, it will
which
probably.
is not great for Canadians, but we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, by then we do have HBO Max in Canada. Uh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was waiting for DC Universe, like sitting like a good boy waiting for DC Universe to come out, that app in Canada. I
Oh
got the
yeah.
middle finger. They told me to
Uh,
go F
they
myself.
don't care about
Everyone in
Canada.
Canada getting the shaft. It's
Yeah,
okay though. But
as usual.
anything else you hope for anything out of it beyond like
Uh,
you know
I do hope that they, being such a Civil War type of movie, I do hope to see a little more ambition with the story. Um, some of these things have obviously been done before, but yeah, I can only hope. I hope they do take a little. What's more interesting about DC's, at least they try different directions with their movies, whereas
they do.
Marvel tends to be. Uh, we've talked about this, but there. Don't get me wrong. There are some really good Marvel movies, but they do tend to stick to a formula pretty well.
Oh
It
yeah.
always seems like they take a template and then they insert whichever character they're making a movie on into that template, except for Spider-Man, which I find to be different enough than the other ones. And
The MCU
incidentally,
Spider-Man movies, yeah.
yeah, incidentally, those are my probably my the ones I enjoyed the most too.
That's good. I
Yeah,
mean, no, they're not my favorites, but I can see the charm. There's
yeah,
a charm to them. They have a
yeah,
charm. I will admit that. Maybe maybe it's because of like how the setting of those Spider-Man stories that they film, but
yeah.
they do have a charm to them. I'm really looking forward to the third one that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it on the podcast, but
Yes,
is it cool if I throw us into this next topic?
go for it, man.
All right. So you guys know Jack Quaid from The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
They just announced again, HBO Max, dude. They announced Superman, the animated series, not to be confused with that old Superman animated series that we had in the 90s, but two seasons were locked in and guaranteed, and it's the
Oh,
synopsis for the show. By the way, Jack Quaid is playing Superman himself, so he's playing
oh,
Clark. Yeah, which if you guys have seen The Boys, you know the guy. He's Huey Campbell. Campbell, I
yeah.
believe, is his last name. Anyway,
Fuck off,
uh,
Huey.
yeah, you should fuck off, Huey. Great, it's great stuff. That show, you guys gotta
Yeah.
watch it. All right. So the whole idea is that this is what it's been written as a serialized coming of age story that sees Superman build up his secret identity, embrace his role as hero of Metropolis and maybe even the world. And then in the meanwhile, Lois is a star journalist as we know her to be. She takes Jimmy Olsen, an aspiring photographer, under her wing, and all the while Clark and Lois are falling in love, they share adventures and they do take down bad guys. Lois Lane is going to be played by an actress known as she goes by the name of Alice Lee. Unfamiliar with her, but I'm still very excited for it. And you asked me about Carnage runs. There's a run I can think of that they could borrow for this animated series. It was a recent one written by Peter Tomasi, who was writing Clark, or rather, he was writing Superman before Brian Michael Bendis came in June of 2018. I can see it borrowing from his run because, quite frankly, his Superman stuff is amazing.
Okay.
Like, it's great stories. You guys got to check out Peter Tomasi's run on Superman. Again, another underrated writer that guy is. Very
Yeah.
underrated. I haven't read his more recent stuff with Detective, but anyway, that's my thoughts. So, and it's being called this show, to be exact, My Adventures with Superman. And yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this out. And the creative team, just to name some stuff for those who are listening: Jake Wyatt, Kloger, Josie Campbell, and that's it. Yeah,
Nice.
it looks promising, man. I'm Clark and Superman needs to be highlighted more, and I appreciate not. I don't like the idea of making Clark evil. Like we see it in Injustice,
I
we
like
see it
it
too much.
personally, but yeah, I think we got that market corner now, so we can come back to the norm.
The lighthearted
Yeah,
Clark. Yeah.
yeah.
And the next thing, and this is another animated series that was announced. So this is a very animated series or animated show podcast. Batman Caped Crusader. I know
Hmm.
people in my life who saw Batman the animated series. I watched not all of it, a chunk of it. I wish I saw all of
Considered
it.
to be one of the best animated shows of all time, I think.
Beating even X-Men the animated series, which
Yeah,
was those two are like pioneering shows. You know what I mean
of
for animated.
Western animation. Yeah,
Yeah, they're beautiful
yeah.
shows. And so Cape Crusader is being made by J.J. Abrams.
That means it's gonna have
Bruce,
lens flare all over the fucking place.
maybe, and Bruce Timm. And by the way, with J.J. Abrams, I have an article for us next week to discuss about him. You guys will like it. But anyway, I'm like teasing the next podcast. We got Matt Reeves as well, who's directing the current Batman movie, and I think he's working on like a Gotham miniseries on HBO Max.
There
So
is a
Matt
Gotham
Reeves.
miniseries though.
No, it's another one. They're making another one on
Oh,
HBO
okay.
Max. Yeah, like I know we currently have Gotham, but it's related to like the Gotham SCPD or something, this show.
Oh, okay.
I don't know much about it. When I get more details, I'll bring it up for us. But yeah, man, Matt Reeves is like he's got his hand in everything like Batman related. It's
Nice.
pretty interesting. And again, so you saw I just talked about Superman. That's gonna be lighthearted and playful in terms of tone. This is gonna be dark and gritty. And it's
I like it.
as they said it, it's going to be thrilling, cinematic. It's going to be evocative of, as this is what they said verbatim, evocative of Batman's noir roots and
Ooh,
go into the psychology of Bruce and other iconic characters in his rogues gallery and around him in the Bat family. And
I
their
like
aim,
that.
as they say, is to cater to old fans and new fans alike. So um, I, I'm I mean, Bruce Timm has recently been interesting, but he made Superman Red Sun recently. That was very good. So
Okay.
Bruce had a rough run, but I thought Superman Red Sun was like a big time step in the right direction for Bruce. So I think I trust it'll be fine. Bruce Timm is good. He knows his stuff. Um,
Very
anyway, any
cool.
thoughts on that before I shoot us over to the next thing, or?
Just wanted to know J.J. Abrams, producer. Okay, so we don't know
Yeah,
who's directing this.
they're all executive producing. We don't know who's going to be directing each episode of that
Okay,
animated
so
series.
they'll probably scout out a director. These three guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure how animated series like handle directing. I don't know if like directors are changed between episodes like they are in television, but
And yeah, that's
I'm not too
true.
sure. So we'll see how that turns out. They could have just one overarching director because that lets you have a clear vision for what you got, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But
And looks like there's no word on the voice talent that they'll be using yet. So,
no, we don't know. Yeah, good point.
what's your
And
guess?
I the current New 52. Well, okay. So before Apocalypse War and after Flashpoint, we
What if
had
it's
quote
Robert
unquote.
Pattinson?
That'd be fine. I'd be interested. But imagine
Or sorry, or is it Christian Bale's goofy ass Batman voice? I'm Batman.
I can't do it.
That was the worst part of that movie. I'm sorry. The
It's a bit too
the
much. I agree with
Christian
you.
Bale, yeah.
I agree. Christian Bale's the real deal, but the voice is
The
too
voice
much
was no.
for me. But
Ben Affleck
um,
had it right. He's like, give me the fucking walkie-talkie.
yeah, he's like, give me the goddamn whatever the voice modulator
Yeah.
that Alfred made for him in the movies. Anyway, um, so what was I gonna say?
Sorry.
It's okay. I had a brain fart.
Oh, we were talking
Uh,
about voice talent. You're about to make a guess.
oh yeah. So post Flashpoint, pre Apocalypse War, we had a timeline which was considered like it lifted from the New 52 line of comics in DC, and in that one they had a new Batman voice actor. I don't know his name, but I think he could really do it. He's good. Maybe he's a bit too gruffy, but I like his voice, and if I remember his name, I gotta bring him up. That
Uh,
Batman voice actor. People know who I'm talking about.
Nick Cage. Just kidding.
Dude, that'd be interesting. I like you and I both like Nick Cage. We would want to see it. Nick Cage is Superman. I would have wanted
Okay.
to see that.
Lois, listen to me.
Listen to me close. There's
All
an
right.
iguana. All
Good.
right,
Yeah. Looking forward to all these animated shows coming up.
coming out.
Absolutely. If we can watch them at a reasonable price.
Yeah, and if we have
Bell.
time and having enough time in our lives to watch it. But
That too.
all right, next thing we got we got some game announcements, or
You
rather,
got some video
what to
games.
expect for release dates. PS5, Switch, and Xbox games that are gonna come out in 2021. So we got Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart June 11th. This one's a PS5 exclusive, not even PS4, but it's finally coming out. It didn't reach the console launch window. I think that was in November. It didn't reach that, so it's now June 11th coming out, which is I think the same day that the Loki series comes out. So you'll be having people who like both of those things will be having a blast. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate June 10th, PS5. Now we get the chance to play as Yuffie, and if you
Okay.
own that PS4, if you owned a PS4 and you had the PS4 copy of that, you get a free upgrade to the PS5 copy.
We like that. Very good.
Yeah, you
Um,
damn right.
haven't played
It's
Ratchet and Clank, but I always will give them a pass because they made a game with Ratchet in it, in the title, so they get a pass for life.
they do,
Yeah.
and like I've played 2 games. I played the PS3 games. Fun. It's a good time. I
There's
always
a
enjoy
Ratchet
Ratchet
and
and
Clank
Clank.
game called Up Your Ass, I think. Yeah.
Up here, yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah. I
I
can't.
swear to
How did they
God,
get away with this shit?
how sexual are these titles, guys? You gotta hear this. Ratchet and Clank going commando. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm going commando right now.
Oh, don't say that.
But yeah, they have all these names here. Let me even like look it up for you guys. Look, Ratchet
Anyway,
and Clank.
yeah.
Here, you can if you want to take it over.
Yeah, yeah, you look that up. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake is the next upcoming thing set for 2021. No solid date yet. Um, based on the concept art and um, early screenshots that we've seen, it does not look good at all. I have to
He,
say, it looks
oh,
awful.
the Prince does not look too
It
wonderful.
would look better if they just took the old game and remastered it. Better than that, why don't they just take the trilogy, it's, HD and whatever, and put it out? Why do you have to remake it? They still play fine, as far as I know. Right?
Yeah, they do play fine.
The only time you want to remake is when the game has really old mechanics or really outdated, but they play fine. Just
They play
remaster
just
it.
fine. I
Yeah.
played them recently. I played 1 and 2 recently. Didn't beat. I beat 1, not 2, but yeah, it's just
Yeah.
they play just fine. I don't know why they wanted to fully do it a remake, but I have faith that if you're taking extra time in development, that's a good sign. I like it. Take longer. Make it
Yeah.
good. I'll definitely play it. I'm definitely getting it. Like I have to play it. I prefer Prince of Persia over
And
Creed,
yeah,
Assassin's Creed.
same.
Not Creed the movie.
Creed. Good movie. Anyways, two more games for 2021, Far Cry 6 and God of War Ragnarok. I believe I saw another article saying that Ragnarok might not make it to 2021.
Okay. So
I gotta say, I tried the first game. I borrowed it from a friend. Not a huge fan. I gotta say. I think
I
my
played
biggest
3.
issue was with the controls itself. It's a third person game, I get it, but Kratos takes up half the screen, and I can't see anything. I just thought the combat didn't suit the controls and the camera, but that might have been just me. I did think the boss fights were really cool. So
I know, sticking up half the screen. You had me like laughing.
yeah,
I choked on my
yeah.
yawn. I was yawning and then like, I was
Yeah,
choking on my
it's
yawn.
true. Look up any picture of that game.
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to bring. Oh, by the way, the Ratchet and Clank games. Listen, you're not wrong when you said up your ass, dude.
Yeah.
Up your arsenal.
Oh,
It's
okay,
close
okay.
enough.
Close. Yeah,
Going commando. Deadlock. Okay. Quest for booty. A
Oh my
crack in
god.
time.
They're doing this
Into
on
the
purpose.
Nexus. Okay, into the Nexus. No.
That's
Size matters.
what?
Yeah, there's a game called Size Matters. It's a
Oh
spin-off game.
my god.
Dude, you were onto
How
something
the
when you said
fuck
that.
do they
How are they getting
get
away
away
with
with
this
this
shit?
shit?
I don't fucking know.
How
Full
did they get away
frontal
with
assault?
Ratchet? I'd stopped at Ratchet, but okay.
Ugh, fuck
Anyways,
me.
moving
That's
on.
too good. All right, next thing. The Nintendo Switch getting a calculator app that costs $10.
Perfect.
Listen,
Exactly what I needed.
I think if you even open that page, I'll find you, and I'll take a broomstick or a chancla or whatever the fuck, and I will beat the shit out of you. Do not buy it. Are you crazy? Please take your phone. You probably have your phone on you. I will beat your ass. Don't even
Oh
look at this app.
God.
Don't even
Is
look at
it
its
is
general
it
direct.
okay, I don't want to click on the page. Is it at least a scientific calculator?
Wait, I'm looking at it, and it can you can do cosine,
No,
sine,
you
tan,
no, no, no.
cosecant. You can do like trig with it, but it's not enough.
Can you
It's
do quadratics?
I'm looking here. No, no, I'm not seeing that. I'm looking at the
10,
calculator,
10.
a screenshot.
For $10, it
Uh,
better take my fucking.
you better
It
cook me a
better
shawarma dinner.
for $10, it better do my fucking math exam for me.
Yeah, it better cook me a dinner too after the exam. Anyway,
Speaking of that, do you
um,
know? Sorry, tangent. Do you know how
yes.
ridiculous it is that those TIs, those fucking caveman technology calculators, still go for what, $100?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh,
Like,
it's
yeah, you
unbelievable.
can get a smartphone for $100, and you could get a dot matrix,
Yeah.
fucking LCD graphing calculator, which I don't even think has color.
You know Symbol Lab? You can just use Symbol Lab.
Yeah, just use
People
that.
who've done university, college math, I'm sure everyone's heard of Symbol Lab.
You know what? This might be controversial, but after high school, I get basic arithmetic. After high school, you should really just be allowed to use a fucking computer to do math. Because that's how it is gonna be in real life. You're not gonna not have access to all these tables and formulas and tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Like
stats, well,
yeah.
like with stats, you're gonna be using software. Like you're
Yeah.
not gonna do it by hand. So,
Life doesn't care that you have the times table memorized. You just want to get the answer.
you
Yeah.
just want the answer. And that's what's important. So,
Exactly.
anyway, this is disgusting. Look, a scientific calculator with a clear, easy to read multi-line display which should help those with not so easy to do math problems.
You
Listen,
know, Nintendo should just publish an inbuilt app. Just update the Switch and add a calculator, just to shit on these guys.
oh my God, dude, look, it says the person who wrote this article, the article is on CNET. They said it doesn't even have a Mario theme on the calculator. Listen,
Yeah.
enough said. Don't even go
That's-
near this. If you go near
No,
this, I'm gonna have a problem with you. I'll be haunting you. Don't even think
you don't
about it.
want that.
Yeah, you don't want me haunting you. I make noises that you don't want to hear. Okay? All right, let's move on. I want to ask this to you, and I'll pose it to even all the listeners too. You guys, I want to hear what you think. Best animated adaptations of books, or video games or comics, whatever.
We did that.
No, we didn't do that. We haven't talked about the best ones yet.
We did books. We did
Uh,
best.
no, we did live action. We haven't done
Oh, okay. You're talking
animated
animated. Okay.
Yes, yes, animated
Best animated adaptations of books or comics.
or video
Ah,
games,
or
anything.
video games. You go ahead while I think about
I'll
that.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, right off the bat, actually I even brought it up. I thought it's a bit outdated now, but X-Men the animated series in the 90s. I recently during the pandemic, I would watch an episode a day to get through it. It's great. It holds up pretty damn well. In some ways, it's a bit dated, but I thought it was one of the best. Because I'm more familiar with the X-Men source material, and so more than Batman, right? So I can tell you with confidence, like it's very faithful and it does a good job. So that's my take for probably one of the best, if not the best, for me. But I'm sure I'm missing so many because there's so
Right.
many out there.
Right.
But that immediately that's what comes to mind. What about you? And if you can't think of one now, I'll just talk about what else I have for another topic.
Right. So I'm not too familiar with the Western animation in general. I'm gonna go with an anime answer if you don't mind,
That's
because
fine.
it's based
That's
on
fine.
manga, right? I gotta say,
Yeah, yeah.
Death Note is probably one of the best adaptations, and for a very good reason. Um, do you know how long the show is?
Isn't it like 30 to 40
That's
episodes,
and
right?
that's exactly why it fucking works. Because
Yeah.
most anime would try to cram the entire story into maybe a 2 seasons, 12 episodes each, or maybe even one season. We've seen some really rushed shows. The best decision that they made was to take the episodes that they need to fully convey that story, because that story is about gradually getting power hungry. It gets a little metaphorical at times, so really good adaptation, I have to say. They
Yeah,
knocked it
I
out of the park with that one.
caught a few episodes of it myself,
Yeah,
not the whole series, but it seemed really solid. So,
yeah,
I sped through Death Note when I read it. Like I went fast through it just to know what was going on.
yeah.
Because it was talked about heavily, and I'm like, I'm already into manga, like in school. So I said, let me read it fast. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you because that show has been regarded by people I've talked to. Like everybody talks well
It's
about it.
yeah.
One of the worst adaptations of like books, video games, comics, whatever. There was like that 1989 Legend of Zelda show. I tried just for the meme of it. I tried to watch. Listen, I stopped. I
Try
couldn't. I was
watching
gonna
it.
dial 911 at some point. I couldn't take it.
Do you
That's just
play
me.
Zelda?
I played like not the ones that are important. Like I played the other ones. Like you remember the DS one from like oh seven
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
eight.
yeah.
Like I played like the ones that I think I basically think of it this way. With Zelda, I haven't played the ones that I should play. I played all the other ones.
Okay.
So that's on me. But I couldn't handle that animated series. And then there was like the shitty season 2 for The Incredible Hulk in 1997, 96. I couldn't
Okay.
handle that either. It was garbage. Season 1 of that show was great, but season 2 is just don't even look at me. It was that bad. Don't watch season 2 of The Incredible Hulk, just watch season 1.
Okay.
Um anyway, I want to move us into
Oh,
as we
hang on.
start to
I'm trying to think of a bad adaptation too. Uh,
Oh, why did I skip over you? I should
gonna
be
gonna go
lit
with
on
an
fire.
anime answer again. One of the worst things you can try to adopt into an anime format is a visual novel, and that's because visual novels are a time sink, but they need that time for you to become so attached to the characters that when something happens, it hits you that hard. That's why on a what, how do you say it, on a fundamental basis, the adaptation is already fighting an uphill battle. So a lot of visual novels got butchered into anime. Now I haven't seen Umineko the anime. I have read a good chunk of the visual novel. I heard that is one of the worst adaptations around. So it's a Umineko is a murder mystery which gradually gets crazier and crazier, but the and it's a really long one too. I believe all the visual novels in total will would add up to 50 plus hours easily of reading. So
Whoa.
imagine trying to do that in a 12 or 24 episode format, 20 minutes each. Uh, yeah, not happening. So
Jesus. I had no idea.
just
So
stick with the visual
this is
novel.
an interesting thing that you say that the
Yeah,
visual novel format doesn't necessarily lend itself to adaptation into like a
right.
small animated series. Interesting.
And the other big point being that you can often make choices in visual novels.
You're
How
right.
do you do that on a show?
I
Yeah.
played the only visual novel I played, and I played it for a little bit on my stream. It was called Hatoful Boyfriend.
Okay. I don't know if.
It's the most like I think it's the most like popular one. I was gifted it by a friend, and can I spoil it? Is it okay if I spoil it a little bit?
Yeah, who cares?
Okay, it's an old game, and I died in my sleep twice. Like ninjas came in my sleep and killed me twice. I'm like, you can't do that in an animated series. Like they literally
Yeah.
they're like initiate the human extermination. She's not getting along with the pigeons. By the way, you date pigeons. You're the only
Yeah.
human. Well, and they're like, she's not getting along with them. Kill her in her sleep. And they literally come and kill me in my sleep twice. I'm like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
You can't do that in an
No,
animated show.
no.
Like, anyway,
So
um,
plot takes advantage of the save load mechanism of the visual novel format. Again, another reason why you can't do it in anime.
yeah, you
Eh,
can't.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but all right, let's throw ourselves into this last bit here. If you
I'm
could,
gonna
if
have
you had the
fun with
power,
this.
yeah. So there's two parts to this. First off, if you could greenlight and put into production one animated show immediately, what would it be? I will throw this to you first. If you could greenlight something into production ASAP,
Does
what
it
do you
have to
want?
be based on something that already exists?
It's
Like
fine.
a source
Anything is
material? Okay.
anything, yeah. Anything is good.
I really want a continuation of the Last Airbender slash Korra universe.
Oh,
I would love to see another animated series of that. Given the popularity of that show, and I'm sure they have the budget for it, I don't understand why they haven't done so already. But I loved Korra. I even liked it a bit better than the Last Airbender, which I know is controversial, but
yeah, some people wouldn't agree with it. I haven't
yeah,
seen it, so I
that's
can't
fine.
comment.
They're both really good shows though.
those are on my to-do list. They're just not as a higher priority. They're there.
Yeah, I'd love to see
Um,
a continuation in that universe. Yeah. What about you?
there's two things. I mean, if I had to, it's a tie. Like for example, I've always wanted a Power Man and Iron Fist like Heroes for Hire animated series. Did I say Fire? I hope I
Okay,
didn't
that's
say it.
pretty
Heroes for Hire.
specific.
Very specific. That's what I would want. We saw Power Man and Iron Fist in like the Avengers cartoon show that which their episodes were great. But the other one I want on an anime side, Toriko. Toriko got
Oh,
it had an animated series, an anime that it got canceled at some point around the 50, 60 episode mark. I don't remember why. I just remember even though it wasn't anything like the manga because the manga's pretty gory and stuff for Toriko as a shonen. I really just want Toriko to have either a full restart or just continue where it left off, but be a bit more faithful to the source material. Because Toriko is like one of my favorite shonens. I just love it. It's like Dragon Ball Z with food. Think of it that way. I sum it up for you. It's like crazy fights and food, and that's what I would want. It's a tie between those two.
cool.
And now this is the question you were excited to answer: is there one animated series that you wish never existed?
You already said it. I don't care if anyone comes after me for this. Fuck Dragon Ball Z. I
Okay, that's fine. That's
fucking
fine.
hate that show. I wish it never existed. I don't know. I don't get the appeal. If you want to watch it, just one time my friend suggested let's go watch the new Dragon Ball movie in theaters. I'm like, just pay me $10 and I'll shout in your ears for 2 hours. How about that? It's the same thing. It's really a garbage. Maybe the first series was good, the original Dragon Ball, but everything after that was trash.
Definitely Dragon Ball
Uh,
itself. Oh, it's so funny to say that out loud. Just
yeah,
Dragon's Ball.
Dragon's Balls, yeah.
It's good. Like Dragon Ball is very solid, but I can see why for some people like Z is a bit too much.
Yeah, fuck
And
Dragon
a lot
Ball
of it, it's
Z.
a
Uh,
pacing issue, man. Because if you watch Dragon Ball Z Kai,
exactly.
it's better. Kai is way better. It cuts down all that filler crap that they put
Yeah.
in the original.
I'm
And
talking
it's
about the original. I haven't seen Kai.
You should see
Yeah.
Kai. Try it out. It
I don't
might
think I
not even
can.
change your mind. It might
Yeah.
not even change your mind. I don't know, right?
I
I
don't
don't
think I
know.
can.
But I listen. It's a fair opinion to have.
Yeah,
But
me and my brother used to follow it as a kid, and I think at one point during the Frieza arc, I believe, we just said
wrapped up.
this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean,
This is fucking ridiculous.
I was hooked, and I
They
still am hooked. I still love Dragon Ball Z.
even I haven't seen soap operas that stretch out shit as far as much as Dragon Ball Z does. Yeah.
But
So and
so
fuck
that's
One Piece
yours.
too.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, people are gonna come after
I
you.
don't
As
care.
if they weren't gonna come after you for
Who has who's got time for that shit?
come
The
on.
only time you can catch up if you have if you're occupied with a job or something, the only way you could be keeping up with One Piece is if you watched it during your entire life.
Yeah, no, you. This is a huge issue. Is like to get into One Piece. It's like a insurmountable mountain. Like it's too much.
I don't yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
tried watching it. By the way, I don't bash stuff that I haven't tried. So,
yeah. Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
yeah, but fuck those
I
two
don't do that
shows.
either. Thank God. But
What about you, man?
that
I think I've created enough enemies for one day.
I don't know. If there's one animated series that I wish never existed, it was probably My Little Pony.
Come on. Is it that
Is
bad or is it the fan base?
it's not that. It's that it's given rise to an
Oh,
interesting
you're
breed.
right. You're right.
It's some. Listen, I can't. I just can't.
No, you're
I'm
right. That's a
sorry.
good point. We
That's
could
my
have
issue with it.
avoided all that stuff if
Isn't
if it
aren't they
never
called
existed.
bronies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do
I would
that.
get rid of it just to get rid of the word brony.
Yeah,
That's
that's
worth
my
it.
idea. Yeah, it's worth it. I don't
Yeah,
want to ever see that
totally.
again or hear about it again. But listen, throw your pitchfork at me. I don't care.
I don't
Okay,
think anyone
that's my
will.
take.
I
Yeah.
don't think
Well,
you're in the minority in that one.
yeah, yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
But that's what I wish never existed.
Yeah.
Here's one thing I want to throw at you though.
Hmm?
Is there an animated series that you were watching and you're like, why did it get canceled so soon? Oh, quickly before I forget, you're gonna agree with this. Do you remember that anime called is it called Hataraku Mouse-sama or
Oh yeah,
Mouse-san
yeah. I might
with
have
the
I might
Demon
actually just go
King?
with that.
Yeah, that one. Dude, it was so good, and they canceled. They didn't even continue it past this first season. I'm like, this is
That
bullshit,
is
dude.
bullshit. It
Because
is
I've read
one
the
of the
manga after.
greatest pieces of anime that I've ever come to
Same, and I
watch.
don't watch
It's
like too many
amazing.
anime.
It is
I had
top of
to
my
see it.
list, that show.
It's so good. You guys gotta watch it. If you like anime,
Fucking
please watch it.
tremendous. Yeah.
Ah, it's a blast, man. It's a blast to watch,
hmm
sincerely. Um, from you though, so is that your pick though? Like you're
That
gonna go
that
with
that
that?
could be one of my picks. I could also
What
go
else do
with
you got?
there was one that I had that the anime stopped. So basically to watch the rest of the story you had to pick up where the manga continues. Um I believe it was The World God Only Knows. It's a rom-com type of show and I really got into it, but around third season it stops and then to be honest, the manga went into a very weird direction after that. So
I have to
maybe
take this
it's
down.
for the best. It's a really anime show. There are two types of shows I recommend. One is for people that don't really watch anime. For those people, I would tell them to watch something like Death Note, or even something like um, what is it, Attack on Titan or something, whatever. Right? They're
Yeah.
usually more mainstream type of shows. But The World God Only Knows is really if you're into all the anime tropes and everything that comes with it. But it's a really good show, really heartwarming. Yeah,
I gotta look it up because
yeah,
I'm a changed man now. I pay attention to. I've watched like two rom-coms, like short rom-com seasons or whatever of anime. I ain't, you know me, I got no shame.
yeah,
I've seen it, so I'd look into that too. I should look into it.
yeah,
I have like a couple picks of like stuff that I wish never got canceled. One was that anime I just talked about.
yeah.
I think it's
Mao-sama.
Mao-sama.
Ah, that's fucking
I
amazing
think it's
show, man.
Mao-sama.
Yeah.
There was the Ripping Friends in like 2001, '02. I caught that. I know a friend of mine. I almost said his name. He's caught that, and we talked about how much of a trip that show is, the Ripping Friends. Like I swear to God, like I think they even like made a joke about weed or included weed in the show.
Oh my god.
It's just a crazy show. It's not meant for kids, and I still like I was really young and I still watched it, but uh, that's one. The other is like there was a 1998 Silver Surfer animated series. I wish that continued past the first season. There was Spider-Man the new animated series on MTV in 2003, post Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1.
Oh,
Wish that never got canceled. That was supposed to be like weaved into the Raimi verse at the time,
the
and
Raimi Wars.
yeah, I think that's what they called it now in retrospect, looking back, and it's true. Like it
Yeah.
was sort of supposed to fit into his Raimi verse. And then the last one was this one is a weird pick. There was a Rayman animated series that was animated by a French studio, and it got canceled like after episode 6. And I wish it just finished so I could see the result. It was weird. Guys, if you like Rayman, it's based off the video game, obviously. Go look up
Rayman
Rayman. Yeah, there was a Rayman animated series. It's weird. The voice actor for Rayman is interesting. It's all you just gotta see it. It's
is
I don't
is
think it's good, but I like Rayman. Sorry,
is
what?
Rabbids from Rayman?
Yeah, Raving Rabbits. That's a Rayman thing.
Oh,
First
that.
introduced in 2007, 2006. I hated the
Oh,
rabbits,
I
dude. I
hate
don't like rabbits.
rabbits.
That's not
They have
Rayman to
a
me.
cartoon show apparently because
The rabbits do?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm never gonna watch
I
it.
have I remember coming across it on back when I had network television. Yeah,
I will not step foot near
I
that.
don't know how you
Near that.
can tolerate that for more than 30 seconds.
The rabbits grew old quick,
They should make a
and
show where you take a fucking automatic rifle and gun them all down. I'd watch that.
we're talking about fictional rabbits, by the way,
Okay.
not actual. But anyway, I don't like the rabbits, but I wish that Rayman series just finished so I could see a conclusion. There was a Sonic series that got canceled at like a
And
cliffhanger
I've
too.
heard good things about Sonic's animated shows.
I've heard it's
Yeah,
not bad, yeah.
if
And
you're into
someone
that.
told me that there
Yeah.
was a cliffhanger and they wish it never got canceled.
Not
So we
that
could
we
throw that in.
not that we have a Sonic cinematic universe.
Oh, well, that'll
Yeah.
be coming soon. At this rate, that'll be here sooner than we think.
We need to classify what makes you entitled to a cinematic universe. How many movies does it take?
3?
Or
More.
it has to be two different kinds of series that intertwine for it to be a
Feed it each
cinematic
other.
universe. Because if it's just a couple of movies, then it's a trilogy, right?
You make a good point.
Yeah.
But it's fun to throw that word around.
So yeah, it is.
It is really fun to
Especially
say it.
with the most unsuspecting franchises.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, I don't know, we can think of something, I'm sure.
Tekken Cinematic Universe, that's actually a thing.
Dear God.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Tekken 1
unfortunately.
and 2.
Yeah.
Poor Katsuhiro Harada. I think he's the producer of Tekken, and he's like, I had nothing to do with that. Don't even look at me. Don't even look at me. That's what Harada
Yeah.
was saying. He's like, I had nothing to do with that dumpster fire, that fucking shitstorm. Anyway,
You know what could work on the topic of animated stuff? Nintendo
yeah, what?
Cinematic Universe could really work. Because they have all these franchises, and they could connect them through a Civil War, Smash Bros. Type of. Oh, I think I'm onto something here.
You're on to no. This is legit. Like
Yeah,
I laughed there, but this is legit. Like you could
yeah.
have Zelda Mario
I,
crossovers.
I can
You
see
could have a
this.
crossover where they meet at the Olympics for real, like the game.
Yeah, Sonic and Mario at the Olympics.
Yeah, I almost
Yeah,
said Mario and Zelda at the Olympics, but
yeah.
anyway, yeah,
Fucking
that's
Mario Kart has a link in it and whatnot.
that is actually a legit idea. Yo,
Yeah.
whoever's listening out there, you're missing out on a great idea. He just gave it to you for free. You better
Reggie,
dial up
you can have
Bard.
that for free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you better be dialing up Bard for more ideas here. He's got them all.
Yeah.
Shit. Anyway,
Shit.
I think we're good to go. How we doing for time?
We're good. We are pushing
We're good.
45, which is really good.
Oh, not bad. I thought we had a lot to talk about too. All right, so before we wrap up, I gotta say the usual shit. Follow. Oh my god, I almost said follow on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube. We put these video pods up there. Follow us on Twitter at BD Banter Podcast. You can check us out on Instagram at Bottom Dweller Banter. Spotify, give us a follow there. That helps us significantly. You can check us out on Anchor. And Bard, anything else before we wrap this up, dude?
That's it, man. It's a fun one.
All right. Well, it was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It's always a pleasure to be here. And now Bard and I, and you guys, we're all off together to swim into the sea of life. Much love to all of you. Do take care.
Peace.
Peace out.